an open mind and follow the evidence wherever it leads. This principle had been drilled into me as a journalist, and it served me well in my spiritual journey. I had to strive for as much objectivity as I could muster, putting aside preconceived ideas and biases. Only then could meaningful answers be discerned. French philosopher Blaise Pascal said, "Truth is so obscure in these times, and falsehood so established, that unless we love the truth, we cannot know it." Number 3. When the evidence is in, reach a verdict. I knew these realities were far too important to ignore. If God is real, and if Jesus is who he claimed to be, then I would have to respond accordingly. Similarly, I hope you'll decide up front that when you weigh the facts, you'll allow the evidence to impact your own beliefs. One more suggestion. Ask the God you may not be sure about to guide you. Just as Jesus honored the doubter who said, "I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief," Mark chapter 9, verse 24, he will honor your sincere request. If you'll apply these principles and seek answers wholeheartedly, I'm confident you'll discover, as I did, that Jesus was indeed right when he promised, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks, the door will be opened." Jesus in Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 through 8. Chapter 3. How can I keep an open mind when I already have some strong opinions? Great question. In spite of being trained as a journalist to follow the evidence wherever it leads, I know I came preloaded with a lot of misguided ideas and attitudes about the Christian faith. I'd read just enough philosophy and history to find support for my skepticism. A fact here, a scientific theory there, a pithy quote, a clever catchphrase. Sure, I could see some gaps and inconsistencies in these skeptical arguments, but I had a strong motivation to ignore them. A self-serving, immoral lifestyle that I would be compelled to abandon if I were ever to change my views and become a follower of Jesus. Then that fateful day came when Leslie announced she had become a Christian. Over time, however, the changes in my wife's attitudes prompted me to launch my own spiritual investigation. That's when I finally determined to set aside my self-interest and prejudices as best I could. I exposed myself to sources of information that I knew would challenge me. I read books, interviewed experts, analyzed history, explored archaeology, studied ancient literature, and picked apart the Bible, constantly reminding myself to settle for nothing but the truth. The search eventually led me to Christ. Maybe you too have been basing your spiritual outlook on the evidence you've observed around you, or gleaned long ago from books, college professors, family members, or friends. But is your conclusion the best possible explanation of the evidence? If you were to dig deeper, to confront your presuppositions and systematically seek answers, what would you find? To be selected for a jury, you must affirm up front that you haven't formed any preconceptions about the case. You are required to be open-minded and fair, drawing your conclusions from the facts and not your whims or prejudices. You are urged to thoughtfully consider the credibility of the witnesses, carefully sift the testimonies, and rigorously subject the evidence to common sense and logic. That's a pretty good description of how we must approach our questions about God, the Bible, and the Christian faith. Except this search for truth is far more important, because it can affect your soul and impact your eternity. This makes it all the more urgent to keep an open mind and to seek answers urgently. Therefore, love truth. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 19. Part 2.